Right. Okay.
And just over the weekend, we had our firearms training. Everything went well, other than me shooting in the rain.
Where you're out in the county facility?
No, we used the time the Windsor's
Oh,
firearms
okay.
range.
Very good. Yes, no. Traffic summons 11.
I can't say anything now.
Chief, any summons that's issued coming off
Gotta
of
watch what you
coming
say.
down the hill off of 218?
I would have to look up that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's talk offline. And I saw a pickup on it. What's getting worse actually is at night. These guys are coming down later at night.
For a week or a weekend or?
It was this past weekend. Yeah. So I just want to look. I don't want to announce it. I just want to see what our plan is to do some enforcement. These people coming off of 218 coming down the mountain. All right. Okay. Any questions of the chief? No. Moving on. How about DPW? Dave. Anything to note, Dave?
I didn't bring a copy with me, but it was pretty simple this month, so.
So you don't know off the top of your head the trash collected?
No, I don't know the numbers off the top of
You
my head.
didn't know
no,
that it was
unfortunately.
112
I was trying to be
tons?
prepared for everything else that'll be coming this way.
All right.
Did you want? Were you?
Whenever you want to do it.
Can you tee that up?
I brought the tablet so you guys can see what's going on.
Okay.
I tried this afternoon, but when I try to override, it shuts down
Okay. The system. Gotcha.
we're not gonna do that.
Oh yes. Thanks for. I note on here the memorial bench that was installed. That's for the Hall family. Yes. She came in to thank us, Alice.
Where is
Yeah,
that date?
very
That's
Nice,
at the
yes.
At the
Very
bandstand.
nice. Yeah,
Well,
for
the
a
spot we
while.
talked
Very,
about, right?
very nice.
Yeah.
That came out great.
And the plaque
Yeah,
came
looks
in,
good.
we put the plaque on it.
Yep. Very good. Monitoring village puppies. Okay. Just start review of the stormwater section. Yes, we'll get to that. Stormwater. All right. Any questions for Dave?
Just electronic items, electronic recycling. Was that the
That,
thing at town hall?
no, that was
in
ours,
November?
that included the bulk cleanup.
Oh, I see. And then
So,
That's
yeah,
cool.
that was when we changed out the container.
do we just do that on bulk cleanup?
No,
Times
I
or-
keep the
You can
container
go
down there
anytime.
year round
You can go
for
anytime.
village residents for electronics recycling.
Okay. Thanks. Don't think I knew that. Thank you.
All right, moving on to the water department. Michael, anything to note?
I'll just note two things. Over winter time, we had 17 different leak sites that we had to repair from. It was an active winter season. And then our 2024 annual water quality report is available for the public. And it's been distributed different public locations such as the library, town and village hall, different multifamily complexes. That was distributed beginning of May. It's required to be done every year by May 31st.
Okay. Just see here. Mike, where are we at with, is it the backflow prevention? I know we were, number was dwindling.
Meters.
Oh,
Smart
meters.
meters.
I was getting
Yes.
too mixed up, yeah.
Yes. Backflows are dwindling too, but a lot slower.
Okay, so with the meters, what are we down to now?
23
23 meters that still need to be installed,
that need to be replaced, yes.
replaced.
Yes,
And these residents are non-cooperative,
correct.
just ignore any
They're paying them.
communication.
So we'll probably have to figure out a way to entice them into doing it.
Okay.
We're charging $75 a month,
We
right?
are charging 75. I actually had a resident I ran into and he asked me about that fee and I explained it to him. He goes, "Oh, all right, I'll call Monday and get an appointment." So
Today's Monday.
There's probably,
this was a month ago or so.
Oh.
there's probably a
It wasn't the one we
couple
talked
of
about,
those out
was
there.
No,
We
no,
just
somebody
don't
else.
know.
He got his, though.
Charge.
Yeah.
Right,
He did
exactly,
call.
Dave.
Okay.
He did call.
Part-time.
All right,
residents.
Dave, Mike, so how long have we been charging the $75? Been a few months,
It's
right?
gotta be about a year.
Is it that
years.
long?
Yeah,
Holy
it's been quite
cow.
a while.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think our next step is to create a an increase
I was gonna say, like, double
You
the
know,
fee.
and progressively increases over the course of a
Okay.
year.
Yeah, agreed.
You know.
Okay.
One thing I'd like to get the word out, and we're gonna work on it, is ever since the US Mail Service changed their distribution point to Stewart Airport,
Hmm.
we're getting a lot more utility bills returned to us as undeliverable. It's through no, fault of our effort. We actually go out to the homes when we get them and we'll hand deliver them. But the addresses are good. If the house is vacant, they won't deliver it. Sometimes they say the road isn't known, but it's very well known. So we're just having a lot of problems with that.
Okay. All right, we can talk about that. Let's see. That one and this one for you on Friday. Okay. All right. Any other questions for Mike? We're gonna talk about, Mike, the lead and copper water safety stuff. I got your email on that. And moving on to New Windsor EMS. What was that, last week? I went to Charlie, who was there. New Windsor EMS had their annual, was it an installment dinner? Is that what you call it?
Awards dinner.
Awards dinner, yes. Powhatan Club was very, very nice. Charlie was there. It was a nice occasion. They recognized a lot of younger EMTs, volunteers. So it was good to see. And considering a few of us went to the NICOM conference upstate, and one of the big things was EMS services and the cost. In fact, who was it? I was talking to a mayor of one of the villages from upstate, and they pay 3 times the amount that we
Yeah.
do. So we have a pretty decent deal. Let's put it that way. All right. So that finishes department reports. Okay, moving on to other business. So the first thing is donation to the Independence Day Committee. We don't have to pass the time for next week. In the past, we've done $1,000. So I assume unless someone objects that we'd like to do another donation of $1,000. And there's a journal that they have that goes along for the 4th of July. And I asked Doris, who reached out to me. Someone from the committee reached out to me and said, actually, I think it was Buffy.
Buffy.
Yes.
Mhm.
And
She's in
said,
charge
do
on
we want to
everything.
take out a journal ad? And she said it was no cost. So I had Doris, what's Doris? Doris here? Oh, okay. I had Doris mock this up. I said, hey, I'm not a creative guy. I just said, can you
Are they
put something
printing it?
together?
The journal again?
No, it's
Just
just
it's
online.
always.
It's gonna be
yeah.
completely online.
There might be a
Okay.
little, just
So
one for the day, a small one.
all I want to do is compare 75 years ago to this year. So and
Well, that's
we'll put
good.
something in nice.
Very nice.
So if you have any suggestions, please send them to Doris. All right. I think they do a very
We'll have
good
the
job.
bunting on for 4th of July on the.
Yes,
Bunting.
Dave, I spoke to Dave about that. He's buying the bunting. Can you get on? I know we already said this. You're gonna get online with Mary. Donahue. All right. Yes. Very good.
Mayor,
Yes.
did you not have a fire department report?
Oh, yeah. Where is that? Hold
It
on.
wasn't in my packet.
I don't have it.
No.
That's a good,
Yeah.
thank you, Charlie.
Charlie, do you happen to have some extras?
We just figured everything was.
Yeah.
I don't have.
Nothing,
Not
figured
fire.
nothing was on fire,
No,
so.
they're fire.
It must got mixed up.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
must
hear
have-
from Rick, which is unusual today. So I could read it off my phone if you'd like.
I contacted him and I never
Okay,
received it.
all right,
So,
no problem.
That's all right.
All right, we'll firebomb your car, Charlie.
He's kidding.
Okay.
He's kidding.
I'm only kidding, Charlie, only kidding. Okay.
His car was already fired.
Yeah. So, okay, so $1,000 for the Independence Day Committee. All good on that. All right, this local law rescind and pass, as we discussed. Long story short is when we passed it looks like when we passed the local law of this year, local law number 4, with respect to modifying certain sections of our code concerning exemptions for volunteer emergency service personnel, It looks like a portion of the law, we were relying on last year's law, local law 1 of 2024, which had repealed a portion. So long story short, Joe's looking at it. We may have to just pass the law again. It's not going to affect anything because the exemption comes into play by the end of the year. So Doris just brought that up to me this past week. So Joe's looking at that one and we'll get some more clarity on it. Now, moving on to the property maintenance and findings. Okay, this relates to 10 Washington, the pseudo property. So to let the public know what's going on, our attorney is updating the findings and determinations to include our last meeting where we closed out the public hearing. Joe's gonna get that to us. What we end up doing next week is we end up adopting the findings and determinations. From that point on, what has to happen is there's two parts going on. One will involve you, Dave, and that is we'd like to take action on cleaning up the outside of the premises, right? So what I'd like you to do is take a look around, just walk the property, see if you want to recommend having our DPW personnel do the cleanup and discard. The idea would be anything that's worth saving is neatly stack it. If we have to cover it, we cover it. But the remaining stuff that looks like should be thrown away, we throw away. So
We're talking 12 Washington again, right?
12, yeah, is it 12, I said 10?
10 Washington.
10,
10, all right,
yeah,
well,
10 Washington.
I went to Payson Road, sorry.
Well, Payson, yeah.
But we did this once before and we hired a private contractor.
Okay,
And I think that's the better way to go
That's-
because we can just flip the bill and add it to their taxes.
no, that's fine with me. One of the things I want to look at is, when you take a look, is see if you can open up the car. Because I know there's something,
Steve can open the car.
yeah, I know there was some food in there, let's put it that
No,
way.
he can.
Yes. So
my
it would be
God.
great to get what we can out of there for the neighbors. So that's part one. So let me know what contractor, how much, do you remember how much it cost last time?
No.
Okay.
We could look it up though.
Let's bird dog that.
I
Yeah,
have them.
let's find out how much it's gonna be so we get that in the works, not until we pass it, obviously, next week. Part two is when Joe at our last meeting advised that we were gonna go to Supreme Court in order to execute one, the clean out of the inside of the building, and two, removal of the person who lives there because of the condition of the inside of the building. We've determined that the owners of the property are deceased, so what's gonna have to happen now is Joe's gonna have to go to talk to the public administrator who can potentially would represent the estate of the owner in order for us to proceed forward. We're doing this, we're doing it by the book. We don't want to, one, we're doing it by the book. Two, that's why we have to get the public administrator involved to represent the estate. We'd like to get the court order. It's either gonna remain in surrogate's court or potentially get pushed over to Supreme Court. I would guess that it'd probably stay in surrogate's court. That way we get court authorization to go in, clean it out and remove the people. We're not doing this blindly. Joe is reaching out to the county or the county attorney and also gonna reach out to county services to help the individual who's gonna have to move out of the premises. So this is gonna take some time, just so the public knows. It could take, depending upon when the public administrator gets involved, they can get temporary letters of administration. It's up to the court whether or not it determines if they see it as exigent circumstances where the person has to be removed, then we can clean up. if I had to guess, you're talking a minimum of 2 to 3 months, just to minimum, just to get the public administrator appointed. Because you have other people that are involved, family members essentially, and they have to be put on notice. Okay, so that's, yes,
I think you should just bring out.
Yeah.
That you will be reaching out to the county too.
yes,
For helping us.
yeah, we're
Okay,
gonna reach out to the county
services.
attorney and county services, yes. Yeah, we want to help the homeowner, it's really not the homeowner right now, but the person who's living there. We want to help them out along the way, so. Okay, any questions in regards to that? All right. So Dave, you and I will get online in regards to the contractor. Thank you. All right. The Stone Hollow Performance Bond. This is in regards to the Stone Hollow development. There was a meeting last week with Mr. Ginsberg and his attorney. And it looks like the town's already advised them what needs to be done in order for the town to accept the dedicated roadway. They're not going to do that until they have certain things done, one of which includes the payment to us for the water usage charges, which end up being, was it, Mike, about 36,000?
About 42,000.
42,000, okay. So they had the meeting. Hopefully this works out. It's gonna take some time, like it has already done in the past, but we will keep everyone apprised. There is a performance bond out there, but it's a lengthy process, an expensive process, and we would rather go this way, the cooperative way.
And tomorrow, Joe and I have a meeting with Mr. Ginsberg specifically on the water bills.
Okay.
Were those water bills, those aren't some of the houses are occupied and sold, right?
They all have been, and some
Oh,
of them
okay.
have been sold several times.
Oh, okay. But those aren't, so the water charges are not the homeowner's water charges, those are the, is that right, or?
One of them originally was because they didn't follow the proper process for closing out, transferring the property over. The other one is for their irrigation system, which is on site there at the entryway.
Oh, okay.
That's the larger one of the two.
All right. Any questions
And
on? Oh, go
I
ahead,
just
Dave.
have a quick
Yes.
question. They had sought relief on the original part of the performance bond, is that right?
They did,
Yes.
but we,
Well,
And
we
how
had-
much was the original performance bond?
174,000.
And how much relief did they get?
I
We
don't,
don't know that they actually did.
Oh,
right, because if you remember, we
I thought
said.
that was public, I thought that was in the town public meeting.
No, there's two different performance bonds.
Yeah.
Town has one and we have one.
Okay,
And with
Okay.
ours, we had some contingency. They had to do certain
Mhm.
things which they never did, so our bond wasn't
I got you.
reduced.
okay. I was just curious.
Yep. All right. So that's that one. Any more questions on Stone Hollow? All right, Hasbrook. All right, Mike, I'm gonna attempt to explain this because that hour and a half meeting that we had last week with Josh at the town. So Hasbrook, this is part of the FEMA project, right, Mike?
No,
So, well, FEMA-
this is a separate drainage
Okay.
project the
All right.
town's doing.
So there's a 16-inch line and a 6-inch line. We are disconnecting the 6-inch line, so it's no longer serviceable. And then having the residents being connected to the 16-inch main. But there was a discrepancy. The town thought that we were going to remove the 16-inch
Mhm.
main. After a lengthy meeting with them, Jason Pitangaro and Mike were very consistent since we started this project 2 years ago. It was never our intent, and it was clear not to, it was clear that we were going to disconnect the 6-inch main. So
Is the 16 in the way?
It's in the middle of the road.
Yeah, so 16 well, I shouldn't say that. Our 16 came first.
I
Their
know.
drainage pipe conflicts with our 16-inch water main.
right.
So in order for them to relieve that conflict, it's gonna be quite expensive. So it's benefit to them to remove the 6-inch water main And that way they can shift the drainage pipe over and they'll have the proper separation. for
Okay,
the
and they'll
health
make
department.
it with that.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and Jason said
But
that.
was your intent to retire it in place?
Correct, yes. However, it looks like when they put the new pipe in, they may have to remove some of it anyways.
Yeah,
It's
and
gas, right?
they were concerned about whether or not they had to get health department buy-in, but it sounds like
We
wait,
don't anymore.
Right. Right. Okay.
Very good.
So that's where we stand with that one. Yes.
How many houses are affected just by both either main,
Probably about 25,
all down in that neighborhood
the
at the
lower end, yeah.
lower end
So
of Asbury.
above Roberts Road
Mhm.
is all, on the 16th.
Right. Any questions about that one? Anything else? Okay. The Coral Development LLC request to access Village Water. This is the 17 lot subdivision, which is also known as Mackenzie
McGregor.
Woods or just
something.
McGregor?
Gregory Woods.
Yes, so this is something for us to pass next week. Mike, do you have anything to add to that one?
Just that they're looking for access to the water lines as well as Dave's sewer and storm sewer system,
From what road?
Shore
Shore.
Road.
Closer,
Um,
which I didn't realize, close to the,
Closer to the highway department.
right,
Where the road
right,
will come out.
okay.
And that's where the connection's gonna be
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Okay.
Which is
So
good
that's
for
where the
us.
entrance to the neighborhood will come from? It's not at the foot of River Road. I thought it was.
Well,
sort
it's a
of
little bit further,
Yeah.
further
It's-
down, but
Okay.
yeah,
Towards
it's
the
not right
crest.
at the foot.
Right. Okay.
But our connections are already there,
I
so
think
that's a
there's
good
two
thing, right?
driveways
Yeah.
Coming off of River
Yeah,
Avenue.
there's
or off
gas
of
is
Shore
there
Road
also.
as well.
Yeah, there's
Oh, yeah.
two
Like the
properties
first
propo-
two would be.
Yeah, there's two proposed that are direct access from
So-
Shore.
Also, all the utilities are gonna come from that, right in that area. That's good.
Yeah, so what we're gonna have to do, at least for the water, I don't know about sewer, but by next, week, I'll have to suggest, a connection charge for the board to entertain. Speak with our engineers and see what the appropriate charge is for a development that size.
Yeah.
And then authorize the developer's agreement. And then I spoke with our treasurer Megan today about an escrow agreement. And it's her opinion that we just share the escrow with the current escrow that they already have in place, the current escrow
Makes sense.
account, rather than creating a separate one.
What size water main will be dedicated to that development?
8-inch.
We're gonna have to do the same thing with sewer connections. We're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Figure out, because it's only gonna be one connection until they deed the sewer main to the village.
Okay.
Hmm.
I have a question that I think is for Manny. Just, and this is not a judgment on whether or not to approve, et cetera. The neighborhood that results from the 17 houses along Shore Road is kind of divorced from the rest of the village in terms of just pedestrian access, essentially. How steep is the drop off from like Andrews and West Street down into this neighborhood? You know what I mean? When it's all said and done, there's kind of a steep slope there, right?
They're not blocking any view. I mean, they did a.
Yeah, no, it's not that. I'm more about like,
You're not gonna be able to do a road.
Well, we
or
own-
yeah, no, not a
We
road,
own
I
the
know.
road.
And I was
Even a
wondering about,
sidewalk.
We will own.
you don't think there's no like staircase option kind of thing, anything like that?
It's doable, but who's gonna pay for that?
That's my question. Could anybody?
Well, the houses will be stepped though.
Meaning what? The terraces?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'd have to be on
They
flat
are,
ground,
right,
right?
Manny?
Mostly flat ground.
The plan?
Yeah, some of them will.
I mean, there'll be steps. You won't be able to get in your house.
Yeah, I just want, I mean, to do anything in the village, a person for leaving that development will have to do a big roundabout.
Manny,
Kinda.
I haven't
That's all.
seen the revised
Just
plan.
wondering.
Does that development, encompass a cul-de-sac?
Yes.
It
Yeah,
has a
yeah.
cul-de-sac.
No, I know.
That's nice.
Well, it's nice for them, sure. It's nice for everybody. It's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing, there's nothing
Better than
wrong
not.
with it. It's just that,
Better than having a through road.
well, I don't know. I mean,
Well, it's.
in
better-
this configuration,
gonna
it's
own
better
that
because you
road.
can't drop down a
But we're gonna
cliff.
plow that road someday.
Yeah.
Nice to have a cul-de-sac.
There's a lot of dead ends in the village.
I don't know if
Yeah.
the residents from Andrews in that area want a connection.
Yeah, no, they don't want a road
Yeah,
where there is no
Any
road
kind of
now.
connection, I don't
Oh,
think.
of course
And you
not.
couldn't
They'll
do,
be coming out to the meetings and.
You don't want Brayton Court either.
yeah, yeah.
they'll be all
And that's
coming
their
back.
private property.
Yeah, you're gonna be touching.
Well,
some private
not
property.
the end of West Street, like, but again, it's,
Hmm.
you can't do it physically. So I'm not advocating for that. Just wondering, it'd be nice to have something pedestrian. But like you say, who's gonna pay for it? Where would it fit on the lot plan, et cetera? All
All right.
right, sorry, thank you.
That's it.
Appreciate the entertaining my questions.
All right, Mountain and Deer Hill Road. So as you remember from our last meeting, we had Doug Land and Paul Janis who were concerned about the drainage improvements, the drainage of Mountain Road and Deer Hill Road. The day after that, our last meeting, I met with Jason Pingaro from our engineers. I asked him to provide me with a proposal for engineering services for drainage improvements in the vicinity of Mountain Road and Deer Hill Road. And he is doing that. He came back with something. I have a few questions, clarifying questions. But the idea is to potentially, one is, I just want an assessment from him on what potentially needs to be done. So he'll take a look at the mapping of the drainage in the area right now. He'll inspect the roadways, the drainage, and the current stormwater infrastructure. The end state would be to come back with a proposal, a potential phased proposal on how they would do it. Remember, Mountain Road is about 4 miles from top to bottom. It may, what's that?
It's about a mile.
1 mile, excuse me, did I say
Mile
4?
and a quarter,
I'm
mile.
talking about, and it may include, Duck Hill. So, he came back to me with something. I'm gonna meet with him, to clarify a few things. And then hopefully, I'll come back to you with a phased-in proposal on how much the assessment's gonna be. And then as part of that assessment would be what he would make is some general recommendations on what potentially needs to be done and how much this would actually cost and whether or not it's gonna be cost prohibitive or are there some things we can get done. So, I will let you know and I will share that with you when I get that back from our engineers. So that has started. Part 2 is.
Speaking with Jason and myself,
Mhm.
we discussed it and I asked him when he does it to actually do it in 2 pieces, starting at Deer Hill and what goes down Mountain Road, Maple Road on one and Deer Hill to the Boulevard on another. proposal.
He, at this point, he had draft is like three phases, but that's why I wanted to call him. I wanted to get online with you and you and I discuss it with him. So we're all 3 of us are on the same sheet of music in regards to what we want him to do and how long. That's the other thing too, is I want to know how long it's going to take him to actually do this.
Right. So the Mountain Road though is a bottom-up project.
Yes. So part 2 then is now involves Dave. Last month we put off repaving the roadway, but Dave came back to us and I will let you take it away, Dave, because you can explain it better on what we can do for Mountain and Deer Hill Road.
Yeah, I understand they want to do stormwater improvements and we have the FEMA work that has to be done as well. And everything's gonna have to be coordinated together if you're gonna do it. But if we don't do something with the road,
Yeah, we're gonna lose.
we're not gonna have a road. So speaking with the contractors that we work with, it's basically it's a hybrid of a oil and chip system. It's called FiberMat. I wanted to show a video on that, but that didn't kind of work for me. So I brought my tablet. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
Off maybe, if we have to.
One second.
Yeah.
Come.
This has been used around, hasn't it, Dave? Didn't New Windsor do this a couple times?
FiberMat, offered by Midland Asphalt.
Okay. likes.
FiberMat, offered by Midland Asphalt
good.
Materials Incorporated,
You
is
can
an
put-
innovative pavement
You
preservation
can put it down,
that
Dave. You don't
meets
have to
a
hold it.
wide variety of needs. Consisting of a combination of aggregate, chopped strands of fiberglass, and polymer modified asphalt emulsion, FiberMat's unique composition creates a durable, yet flexible membrane with waterproofing properties. This inhibits existing cracks from migrating into the newly added overlay, providing a longer lasting pavement surface. Originally developed in 1989 in Scotland, Midland Asphalt was the first company to bring FiberMat to American roads. Since then, Midland has applied over 10 million square yards to roads in the Northeast. FiberMat's distinctive composition leads to numerous value-adding benefits. It's fast to apply and open to traffic within minutes. By enhancing the existing surface, FiberMat reduces repairs and adds resistance to cracking. Additionally, it does not require milling, yet bonds well to both asphalt and concrete. The imperfections in the existing road are minimized, and strength and flexibility are increased, leading to a long-term solution for pavement preservation. From a technical side, the application of FiberMat is a complex process. Spools of fiberglass are housed in the storage area of the machine and are fed through tubes before exiting through 40 cutter assemblies that slice the strands into a predetermined length and weight per square yard. The entire application is controlled through an attached central computer, ensuring even and consistent distribution. First, a traditional slotted jet bar sprays a layer of polymer modified asphalt emulsion onto the roadway. Second, a compressed air system ensures that the chopped fibers are enmeshed into the first layer of emulsion. Third, an additional layer of polymer modified asphalt emulsion is applied to the road, sandwiching and embedding the chopped fibers and sealing the original road surface. In Type A FiberMat, known as an enhanced chip seal, a final layer of aggregate is then applied, giving the road surface an appearance similar to a traditional chip seal with increased resistance to cracking. Type B FiberMat, known as stress absorbing membrane interlayer, or SAMI, is similar to Type A, with FiberMat application acting as an interior layer or membrane between the existing road surface and an additional overlay surface. This increases lifespan and durability of the pavement while giving the owner their desired final road surface. For additional information on FiberMat and other processes, visit our website at www.midlandasphalt.com.
Okay, thank you, Dave. So, Dave, in regards to raising the, what you're adding is, to the roadway is how?
1/4 inch stone.
Yeah, almost no depth.
You're adding the polymer, which is gonna seal all the cracks.
Yeah,
And stop the water from getting in the asphalt. Water is what creates all your potholes.
We're not
Yeah.
raising
It
the
goes in, it
level.
freezes, and creates
Okay.
potholes.
so I think based on talking to Dave about this and seeing this, and the estimated cost, Dave,
Well, my suggestion is we're gonna not spend any of the CHIPS money on roads this summer. We'll roll that and let it go. But,
until we deal with the drainage.
until
issue.
we deal with the drainage. Central Hudson provided us with 200,000 for road repairs from when they did their work. The cost estimate I have for Mountain Road and Deer Hill Road and Braden Place as well, because Braden Place was on the schedule to be
Mhm.
paved this year as well.
Right.
To roll those 3 roads and FiberMat all of those, we're looking at about $130,000 for the material and another about $8,000 or $9,000 for stone. So you're looking somewhere around 140
I think.
to do those 3.
Yeah.
And I would also
Mm,
encourage the village board to also put this treatment down at Donahue Farm while they're here for the $7,000 or $8,000 that it would cost to put a second layer of oil and chip on what we did last year,
mhm,
would extend the service life of that road another 10 years.
okay,
So for nothing, basically,
Yeah.
and it's not gonna hurt us
No, that's
paving wise.
so.
Right, because it looks like oil
That,
chip.
that contractor, that Midland comes
The
in.
Midland's not the one
Oh, okay.
that'll do it for Allstate Construction.
Okay.
Who
And
use
Dave, what,
same equipment.
Yeah.
They're just,
impressive.
I think it's a good, oh, go ahead.
Do
Sorry.
they bill, I mean, how is that done by the square foot? How does that work?
they figure it out by the square foot. Or
Okay.
Cubic yard, I should
Cubic
say.
yard.
And Dave,
Square
you-
yards, cubic yards. square
And you
yard.
would do Mountain Road when, this would all be done in the August timeframe?
This would all be done when school's closed.
Does it require a lot of preparation by us, Dave?
Patching.
Just
and
make sure there's
patching
no,
And get our drainage
no
work
big
done
potholes.
first.
And it doesn't add to.
No.
The height.
It's gonna add very minimal. I
Very
mean,
minimal.
You're gonna add,
It's not
you
like
have
black
to add,
Little.
but.
Yeah.
It's very minimal. It's not gonna change the contour. It's not gonna change the pitch of the road.
Yeah, and
It's
when the
not gonna
time
change
comes,
the
it can be milled.
drainage characteristics.
It's not gonna be, it would be easy to be milled too,
And it's not
forever,
and.
but it's long.
But also what you can do with that is when you watch that video, they suggest using this stuff under blacktop overlays.
Oh.
Because it seals your base,
Oh.
so it's not gonna hurt to be there. It'll actually help on Braden Place next year.
Yes.
Pave Braden Place next year, because we're not gonna bring a contractor in to pave that small. It would be. too-
Okay. I think it's from my perspective, I think, in order to save the roadway, you have a lot of people complaining about it, the potholes and the rest of it. I think it does two things. One, saves our roadway. We address the residents' complaints. Two, it needs to be done. Three, we're moving on what potentially needs to be done for drainage on Mountain and Deer Hill Road. So we're not expending the monies. The additional monies that we have for Mountain Road. So, how long it's gonna take to address all the drainage issues, I don't know, but Mountain Road's but they'll be addressed. Depending on how much the cost is, we might have to
This will get you a
bond
couple
things
years.
out. Yes.
This
and
will get you a
what
couple
we need.
years.
Yes. Anybody have any questions or concerns about it?
I think I have the sense just from the residents who came to speak about it that I tried to make the distinction between the surface that you're concerned about, what you just
Yeah.
said, and the drainage, the stormwater. I think they recognized, the ones who spoke, it was basically just Doug and Paul, right? They recognize that the overall drainage improvements are going to take time.
Yeah.
So this is sounds like a good interim step to me. It's less expensive, it'll last a little while, and it'll stop
not
one
changing
of the two problems.
We're not,
short
yeah,
term.
we're not building a big grade, which I
Right,
do
we're not
get that.
raising the.
They wanted
not
the
raising the
road
profile.
milled, so it would be less chance of raising it. This is like a quarter inch.
The only downside is gonna be about a week period after the process is done.
Mhm.
You have to let the road set and then you sweep up the excess stone.
Yeah.
Because you have,
Midland
Midland just
they do.
said you could drive on it right away.
you can drive on it right away, but you're gonna have.
The
if
stone
you-
be
if
like
you're
chip-
driven
like
on
oil
the
and chip.
Like oil and
You're gonna have that.
Yeah.
But if you try to sweep it right away, you're gonna.
That
just start to
aggregate
get
looks like it's smaller
It's
than
gonna be quarter inch
standard. Yeah.
quarter inch stone.
Okay, now, all right, so very good. Thank you very much for that,
Thanks,
Dave.
Dave.
Appreciate it.
I like it
All right.
better than.
All right, next up, the Connector Pollinator Trail. So I had a lengthy conversation with Kate Krimsky, very lovely woman. She gave me the update in regards to our Connector Pollinator Trail. I think in your packets, did it include pictures of what's going to be done? No? All right, hold on. I have it, I'll pass it around.
Dave, I've
here.
got one. I've got.
So,
That's seven.
so I'll pass this around in a minute. So the bottom line is that up near our Welcome
did
to
that?
Cornwall and Hudson
did?
sign, it's not in your packet?
Oh, Kate.
Okay.
Oh, no,
Okay.
Nicole did it.
I'm not
So
that
Augustine.
talented, Dave.
So up near the town, the village
There you
border,
go.
where we have,
Nicole did that.
She wants those boulders, I know.
So the town, the good thing is there's a lot of volunteers, first thing. Second thing, the boulders are gonna be delivered by the town. They cost about $500. They're very large boulders that you can see. They had to keep it about, from the utility pole,
'Cause of
they
that
needed
pole.
8-foot radius. So that's why, if you go to the other side, this is what it looks like on the other
Let me
side,
see.
on the village side.
Oh, okay.
There's another page there, Dave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's there.
So
Oh,
what we're gonna
nice.
do
I like
is,
it.
Kate and her team has already picked out, it's about $1,000 worth of native plants,
Okay.
native to the area, from a company over in a nursery over in Beacon.
Beacon.
And Megan has already reached out to them in regard to our purchase of that. So we're gonna expend the $1,000 on the plants. The town is gonna build the boulders. Then we're also going to bring, the village is gonna help, it's gonna deliver the compost and the soil to the grounds. And
From our Donahue Farm.
from our
compost.
Donahue Farm
Nice.
compost, yes,
Love it.
and then they're gonna have volunteers. In fact, the volunteers will include the youth garden club to help put in the the plants. This is all, and the town is gonna, since they have a watering
Very
truck
nice,
or watering
yes.
apparatus on their truck, they're going to water the plants.
Maintain, yeah.
The date, Kate gave me the date.
I have it.
You do?
But
Okay.
I don't have it
At the
here.
end of
I have it
the,
in my other
it was
packet.
toward the end of the month, like in a couple of weeks, right, Dave?
End of June, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe it was on for some reason, I thought it was I think it was on a Saturday.
It is a Saturday.
Saturday, I think, yeah, hold on. I don't know why I don't have it written down,
Hang on one
but,
second. I do.
okay.
I take it we don't have to hang up a New York Forward banner at the time that we're doing this, because this is not,
No,
even
this
though
is-
it's in that money, it's not of that money.
and it's less expensive than.
June
the photo.
21
Yeah.
at 10 o'clock
Okay,
is the planting.
so it's the coordination of the town getting can you get online with Kate?
Yeah.
I mean, Dave.
Oh,
I'll reach out to Tommy, see what he found.
Okay,
what he's
all
got
right.
going.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We'll coordinate.
Very good.
Yeah.
Um,
Town to provide the rocks,
yes,
has a budget of 500, village to transport style compost, timing,
all right,
pretty much everything's taken care of.
It's great.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that one's done. The fire department investment class, investment. So I'm looking at the night class word. So, okay, so we've been beating this for a while. So Megan we're gonna have $400,000. The idea is this: we're gonna take 110 and we're gonna put it into the capital reserve line that's already there. That will balance out the fire department. They'll have 200,000 in that line. The other 290, we're gonna, correct me if I'm wrong, Megan, what we'll do is we'll put that into night class. It'll be a separate line in night class for the fire department.
Yeah, it'll be a sub-account.
Sub-account of our general account, which we already have right now for sewer.
We have a sewer, water, and a general account through night class. So we'll, have a sub-account within general and name it fire department
Apparatus.
apparatus
Yes.
and invest the 290 into that.
And then what we can, I don't even know, look, now that you're good with it, Bill, we should, why don't you come back to us with a recommendation in regards to how much more you think we should invest in the night class? Because, we have that 290, we're gonna have, there's 270 right now, or is it 27, in the
In the
capital account?
capital reserve
Yeah.
is, I think it's 270.
Okay,
And
and
that
then-
includes,
Yes, correct, ma'am.
DPWPD.
Right, so we're gonna add to that, maybe we take, look, just come up with a number
Okay.
that you would recommend, that we, put it in night class. Looking at their numbers, they've been pretty consistent for a long time, so, at least over 4%. And what are we making at Orange County Trust, like 1%?
Yeah, in our general money market,
Yes.
1%.
Okay. All right. Any questions on that? We'll address that next week. All right, moving on to the Donahue Farm Barn. All right, so Deke and Dan Poindexter came to me a couple of weeks ago, and they wanted to paint the outside of the barn, not the entire thing, but the area where we have our events typically. They advised that Deke and Dan and a few others are going to do the painting. They were looking for the cost for the materials would be $1,300. That's including renting a scaffold for the month, 10 gallons of primer, buying a paint sprayer, and ground covering. So it's going to cost around 13. I think it was 13. Yeah, 1360. Deke asked, "Is there any way that the village can pay for this?" I asked Bill how much is in the Donahue Farm account with CFOS consolidated funding or
It's a
something funding of
community
Orange
foundation
and,
of Orange and
Orange and Sullivan, right? And it's $5,900. Is that what it is? So the question is do we want to pay for this paint? Do we want to pay for the whole thing? Do we want to pay for a portion of it? I'm agnostic to it.
I just have a question about them painting and I'm not questioning their abilities, but doesn't it need to be like prepped first or like sanded or chipping done? Like are they doing that prep work too? I mean, you can't just walk up.
I did speak to Deke about that. He
Is it
power washed
scaffolding
it.
though, or is
I know
it
he power washed it.
Okay.
And that's what he did when he painted the other side, the road side of it years ago. That's what he did. So
Does that
This is
sound
new to me.
good to Dave? I mean, is that the right
It's new to
approach?
It's new to him.
Well, this is all new to me, sorry.
oh, you didn't know? Oh, okay.
This is
Oh,
all new.
this will
I'm
have.
assuming that's a lift, not scaffold.
I have no. He's got down
Wouldn't you think,
scaffolding.
Manny, it would be a
I've been
lift?
concerned about if you power wash, or removing any paint, test for lead first.
They tested for lead.
Yeah, they
And
did.
I
They
believe
tested
it was
the whole property, Manny,
Okay, good.
Yeah.
inside too, because they removed asbestos also.
Yeah, no.
Will you leave, man?
I mean, Deke did paint the front side not that long ago, after the
No, it
village
was-
bought it.
I
He
thought it was
primed it. He
before.
primed the front.
Okay.
And this is he's proposing to do the same thing on the back.
I don't have a problem with it because eventually it's all got to get done again anyway. But the question is, does the village board want to authorize payment for it? And I will just go through, since we purchased it, we've invested about $652,000 into it. The purchase price, and then we
Not
did it.
since we purchased it.
No.
That includes.
Oh, no, it includes, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm going
thank you.
through it, yes, it
Yeah,
includes
okay.
the purchase price, but then we gave a donation to them for $6,000. That was seed money for the garden. And then we had to use, yes, no pun intended, Taylor, and then the use of Taylor to pick up stuff that had to be thrown away.
Yeah.
That was a few times, how many times? 3 times, $144, $5,800, $2,825. The roof abatement was $6,500. The movie night potty rental was $320, electrical work $4,000, tree removal $3,400, flood damage $3,200. So that is what, 6, 10, 16, 21, 30. You're talking around $30,000 since, in that vicinity, since our purchase.
Which was when? Sorry.
2021.
2021, yes.
When's the last time it was painted?
Oh, I mean, I don't,
Forever
oh, forever
ago.
ago, yeah,
Mary.
yeah, never day, very long time ago. So your thoughts in regards to, they do have $5,900, they do have $5,900, but
Have we given them anything this year or anticipate giving them anything else this year?
this year we paid for tree removal. And, right, this year we paid for tree removal, 3,200, 3,400 on, $3,400 bucks.
Out of the
Out of
DPW.
DPW's fund.
Yes, so,
Question for me is just, we're gonna charge for weddings, right? So they're gonna do 2 weddings this year, $2,000 each. And if those are successful and people wanna get married there and stuff, we can get not clawback, but we can earn a little bit of revenue off of the property.
Yeah.
Obviously, it probably, unless a film company comes in and shoots there for a week and pays us a boatload and then fixes everything up when they leave, we'll probably never exceed our
Yeah.
expenses on it. But to me, just anything that improves the property makes it a rentable property, and I think it's worth doing. But at the same time, like I feel like the 5,900 is for programming. Depending what those costs are, there comes a point where you have to ask, like, so what do you guys, if you maybe doing garden improvements, that comes out of that, I guess. But I could go either way. I mean, they didn't seem too worked up over the prospect of splitting it. Or
No, I
doing it.
spoke to Dave. I spoke to Dave Workabout. I spoke to Deke, and I spoke to Dan. Your thoughts, Trustee Galliano?
My thoughts are, I just wouldn't want to expend any village money without DPW taking a look at it and making sure it's going to be done the right way. So we're spending our money, in an effective and efficient way. And then I think we can pay part of it, but
Okay.
I'm not certain, being that we've already spent, a few thousand to pay for the whole boat. That's my opinion.
Trustee?
What line would this come out of?
It's general, so Donahue is it's general money.
So it would be
it's
from the
just-
general fund.
Yeah, it's, Dave's money, it's Dave's budget essentially, because it's property maintenance.
So in that
So-
case, I would say definitely partial.
So,
I
these,
would say
this
partial.
wasn't
Okay.
budgeted
Yeah,
for.
yeah,
Or-
what do you think,
Yeah,
Bill? I
I mean,
defer
I
to
don't-
Bill on this. Split it? I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
fine with me.
that's,
I go with
I-
splitting it.
I
Okay.
think that's fair.
All
Me
right.
too.
Yeah.
Good.
But the other big expenses that are in the future, I mean, the windows are actually less expensive than you think, but it costs money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's, the residence roof repair, replacement,
yeah,
those things we'll have, we'll come to
Yeah.
this question periodically from time
Yeah,
to time, like how
definitely.
much is this gonna
We
cost
need
us?
to find out what kind of equipment they're gonna get,
yeah.
because if they're gonna be renting equipment, are they renting it in the village's name?
That's what I'm saying. I just think if we're
Or
spending
yeah.
the money,
Insurance.
that
Who's,
Dave
who's
really needs to
responsible,
look.
who's liable, who's our insurance gonna cover, as we know we're having enough problems with our insurance.
Yeah. Oh.
Who's falling off the scaffolding?
Yeah.
So,
That's what I.
Okay,
I-
so
So
Deke-
I say
Yeah,
that
that's
you can get
right in
on
front of Manny, you
line
say
with
that?
No, yes,
Deke.
yeah,
I
no.
mean, it
We're not
just,
paying
we
attention.
gotta
right?
make sure we have our
And I know
bases
they-
covered.
I know
Yeah, I
they would
agree.
like,
Watching something
they would
on
like
his
to get it
phone.
while the weather's
Thank you.
nice.
See?
Before there's a wedding on the 28th.
Yeah, so,
Of this month?
yeah,
Then you get painted. Not before that.
why with the rain?
They're painting this
It's
Friday.
raining every other day.
Oh.
I know, that is the problem.
That's
This
what
has been
made it.
brutal.
It's been
Yeah.
very
Alright.
tough to try to
Okay,
get
good.
anything
I'm
done.
glad we agreed on that one. Very good. PFAS settlement, I think you guys received the email from Michael Trainer, our water superintendent. Mike, why don't you tell everybody the good news?
So back in the summer of 23, the board authorized us to enter into a class action lawsuit for PFAS contamination of water supplies. To date, they've settled with 4 different manufacturers, the biggest one being 3M. The settlement for that was $30 billion, billion with a B. Out of that, our settlement number was 1.3 million. About 300,000 of that is legal fees. And they've begun issuing the settlements. Megan received a check last week, was it?
Yes.
For about 20% of the settlement. They informed her that the next 50% will come towards the end of this year. And then the remaining 30% will be paid out in accordance with a schedule that allows them to pay it out up until 2033. DuPont, they settled with them for 750 million. If you use the same ratio they used on the 30 billion, our settlement number for that should be like $33,000 instead of a big number. But there are 2 other settlements they're still working on. And then there are also other manufacturers that are refusing to settle, that they're still litigating against. So.
So that is good news. I think long-term, it's one of the ways Mike and I spoke about it, is addressing Sphagnum Dam,
Yes.
which needs to be addressed. But, as part of it, we also have to keep considering is the PFAS treatment, the regulations that are gonna come down
Yes.
because
Get
they're,
stricter.
They're
we'll get
getting
getting
stricter.
lowered. Right now, New York State's maximum contaminant level is 10 parts per trillion. They're lowering it to 4 parts per trillion. And out there at the wells, we do have PFAS in that water as well as up in Black Rock. The engineers are estimating $2 million for treatment at both facilities. 2 million for each one, total of 4. So,
Yeah, but that should be,
That, there's gotta be a program for that,
Well, we can only hope, but
to give you those millions.
oh, we've tried. There's grants out there, but we don't get the money.
all right.
Maybe we're.
Well, we're gonna have to bond it out like we bond everything else.
Yeah, and as you found out with NICLAS there, the interest rate you get there, that could pay for your interest that you're paying on these bands and bonds.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, good news and bad news. Good news, we're getting some money. The bad news is we're gonna be
It's already
spending more.
spent.
Yes, exactly.
A lot more. Why the big
All right.
disparity between 3M and DuPont? Just the amount that they
I believe so, yeah.
manufactured? I mean, it's
Yeah.
astronomical difference.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, likely it would be their percentage of fault, so to
Correct.
speak,
Yeah.
comparable
Correct.
fault or
Yeah.
comparable negligence.
And there's another aspect to this that at some point the attorneys are gonna reach out to us, where they will represent us in going after the, producers of that contamination, not necessarily the manufacturers of the PFAS.
The source.
The source.
Which
So
in our cases could be a lot of different
it
things.
could
right?
be the federal government out at Stewart Airport.
Yeah,
So we'll see.
All
sphagnum,
right.
I mean, reservoirs, who knows?
Thank you, Mike, for that. Last 2 items I wanted to add, but lead and copper water safety regulations. So, Mike sent us out an email the other day, and I was looking at this. This is in regards to the determining whether we have lead lines in the village. Mike, in his detailed report, advised that we had 2,500 service lines. 963 have been determined by the staff to be non-lead, by either reviewing the historical records or performing the on-site inspections. So we have about 1,600 remaining. Based upon what you were saying, Mike, is that we've got a lot of work to do because some of it you can't determine on historical records, so we have to do an excavation at on the private property as well as
Correct.
on the public side.
So I got
that's
a question.
hold on one second, it's labor intensive. So, and it looks like they may extend this for a year for us to
Mhm.
comply. And if we don't, then it defaults to 10% of the service lines then have to be,
Correct. So right now, we have to get those classifications determined by October 31st of 27. They may push it until the end of October and 28. If you don't have them confirmed by then they automatically become known as lead service
Lead.
lines,
Have to be
which means you
replaced.
have to replace at least
Yeah.
10% each year over the course of, and have them all removed within 10 years.
2027, Mike, on October?
Yeah.
so Mike,
Okay.
practically speaking, this is gonna, let's just say they stick to the October
Mhm.
2027. Could we get it done without using, an independent contractor?
Well,
Or,
we could,
Okay.
I mean, it involves, we would rent a hydro excavator.
okay,
It's the only way to do
We, I'd love to purchase one. They cost about $400,000. We can rent one for $13,000 a month, and our crew can go out there and start the excavating. That's probably the quickest way. I looked into some equipment that they showed us up at the conference that we took.
mhm,
The equipment would cost about $20,000. It would allow us to determine the makeup of the water line by inserting a probe into it while it's under pressure, and using some electrical resistance to determine that. Whereas I looked into it even further, the $20,000 didn't sound bad, but then they want $55 for every report, and all of a sudden you're up to $110,000.
oh, wow.
Report
Okay.
per water line, per
Yeah,
service line.
the vendor and I didn't have a very good conversation after that.
Okay, all
So
right.
you don't have to excavate in the street, correct?
You can excavate
At the curb
You
valve.
can on the curb valve, so depending on where that is, and there's
Most
a
of-
certain distance you have to be away from each one.
A foot?
No, I think it's at least 2 feet on either side of the curb valve. You know, and if we can get the property owners to cooperate, if we get inside, we can determine the
The
makeup of
inside, yeah,
inside.
yeah,
But we still have to excavate on the,
on the curb. though.
you know,
Yeah, that's makes it intensive.
So you're
There is-
checking from the main to the curb valve and from the curb valve to that.
correct.
Yeah.
You can do a statistical analysis, but you still have to do a lot of excavating. So
How big is a hole for each one of these checks? Like how
you could
much
probably do
excavating
2 by
are we talking
2
It can be tiny.
for every
Yeah.
house?
You just,
for every house.
yeah, lead's not magnetic, so.
This is
But
work.
1,600.
It is.
It is a lot of
That's what-
work,
When
but
you send me
if
the
the
email,
bit-
I'm like,
If your curb
ton
valves,
of work.
you know, 6 feet in your,
And listen,
it's,
In the garden? Yeah. or
yeah,
whatever,
it could
We-
be a half-hour job with a
we
hydrovac.
went through with our old records clerk, Barbara, we went through in the old village code and we found in, I think it's 65, the village created a code that required copper lines for all
Mm.
water services. So that allowed us to look through property records. Anything constructed after 65 or 66 is automatically copper based on that.
And so that's how you got the 900.
Yeah, well, that's some of it, yeah.
Yeah.
And then if that's like going through the property records with the county and everybody. If there's other records that
this is
show that
enormous
the
amount of work.
code was copper prior to that, that's a home run too, but we weren't able to find that.
Yeah.
This is just a lot of work.
In Newburgh,
It is.
the way
very
it was in
labor
Newburgh
intensive.
is you had known streets, and those streets were
Well,
were
that's
were
what I
lead
talked about it offline.
in the
Yeah.
street.
That's why I was
On
bringing
the
it up. I'm looking
customer
at this
side,
and
they
I'm
weren't
saying,
lead.
this is just, I know.
We, but
a lot
you
of
know, the
work.
hydrovac, if we schedule everything, it's very intensive, but
All right, we'll
Get them done.
we'll talk about the plan
Yeah.
offline and we'll come back. All right. Thank you for that, Mike.
Yep.
Last one, it's not on here, but I wanted to add it because late today, we had someone drop off a petition in regards to, where we're putting the, what's it called now? Hold on. The artwork for the Upstate Art Week. We're installing, which we've already passed, at our last meeting, the Hudson Valley Ghost Column sculpture at the site of the Dock Hill Road Extension area. Currently, Vivian Collins structure is there, but that's going to be removed. And the artist, Allison McNulty, is going to construct her ghost column. So these people have submitted a petition to the board to revoke the permission to place any sculpture in the park at Dock Hill. Well, and one of the reasons is, and in fact, speaking to our former mayor, Joe Gross, he had advised me that he had placed the bench there so you can see Donahue Farm and the mountains there. Right now, you could sit there. I've been down there a few times, walking my dog, sitting there. Can you see the farm? Yeah, you can. You can see some of the mountains. There's trees and branches in front of it. From my perspective, it's this. We've already authorized the artist to do this. She's already made the plans. She's already moved the brick. She's already paid to do that. Had we known this prior to this, yes, we would have looked for another place. What I plan to do is I'm going to ask her, is it possible for her to move the structure either one way or the other if you're sitting on the bench, either to the left or maybe to the right, so you can still have a somewhat unobstructed view of.
Is that a
Donahue Farm.
dedicated bench to somebody?
I don't remember. It's on a concrete bed.
Oh, it is on a
Yeah,
pad.
yeah.
So it can't be moved.
Any of them I put in on
Any-
concrete, so they don't disappear.
So that really can't get moved though.
And I appreciate
too bad.
I appreciate what the residents have said, and then, after this year, going forward, yes, maybe we'll
Plus,
pick
it is
another
It
site.
is temporary.
Yes. So any thoughts on this?
I hope she's amenable to
Moving.
Scooch
Yeah,
it
she
over.
can, yeah.
scooch.
I will reach out to
Yeah.
her.
I
So,
think she
It
would.
makes sense that she should be, right? I mean, is the
If the
ground
bricks
are
much
piled-
different?
Right there, and it's
yeah, what I don't
It only
know
takes
is
a day to build.
we're moving the the plate out of there, once it gets all coordinated, now with,
Once she says she's gonna pick it
Right.
up, I will
But-
unbolt it. I'm not moving it.
yes,
I'm just gonna take the bolts out of it, and once she removes the sculpture, then we'll remove the plate.
yes, that's it. And Buffy said she'd be in touch with you in regards to that, so,
And we still do need the discouraging chain around it, right?
yeah,
Isn't that part of our overall?
we'll put something
requirement?
and a sign, no climbing,
It'll have to be something different than we did for the sculptures, but yes.
Because those were bolted to.
yeah.
Because that's all welded to
Welded
the
together.
plates.
So, okay. Yeah, I think that's, look, next, we know where the residents stand on this. Next year, we will, or the next time around, we will not put it there.
Yeah.
All right.
Jim, I do have one thing that I wanted to add, but
Yes.
if we can.
Yes.
Our wood chipper. We've been.
This sounds, wait, this sounds
No,
expensive.
it's not gonna be, it's actually gonna be better than,
Oh.
so,
Okay,
our
you
wood
found
chipper-
one.
No.
for free?
Our wood chipper, I believe it's a 1998, I
They
believe.
They never wear out.
Well, it's
I'm only kidding.
outlived its service life. The last couple of times we had big jobs where we needed it, I
Mhm.
ended up borrowing one from the town.
Okay,
It's time for us to replace it.
okay.
While I was at school last week,
Mm-hmm.
on the state programs, I found that I can actually purchase it through one of the state programs. And it's
Okay.
not gonna cost us. So I'm looking to purchase it, if you'll authorize it next month. I have a quote off of Sourcewell to
Okay.
replace our chipper. It's, everything's expensive now, I'm kidding.
All right.
But it's
Yeah,
not coming
so-
out of, it's,
All right.
we can use the state money for it, $68,000.
Nope.
Yeah, so,
Less than a
So-
fire truck.
we can replace it. And we don't have to take it out of our budget. We can use part of the CHIPS funds. There's a separate for equipment purchase that you can use.
Okay. All right.
Is it a big one? Obviously.
It
a big
is a
one.
little bit bigger than the one we have now. It's basically the same, almost the same unit that the town has, except for this one I'm gonna buy with a gas engine instead of diesel.
Mhm.
Because with the new DEF, everybody's having nothing but problems with the DEF. And this would be a gas engine, so,
All right.
but it would be this same type of unit. So I'm gonna put a thing together for you for next meeting, just to
Okay.
authorize.
Is the one that we have now, does it work? We can sell it and get something for it?
We could get something for it.
Okay.
It's not,
And you only got 25 years out of it?
yeah, we
essentially.
only got about 25 years. I think it's a 98. I'm not positive.
Okay.
I was trying to find the date on it, but,
Lie to me. Tell me it's 88 and I'd feel
What is
better.
it? Mobar, Vernier?
no, this is gonna be a Bandit.
What's the one we have?
Woodchuck.
Okay. All right. Bring it to us for next.
Yeah, we got our money's worth out of it. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about that, but we're gonna be, in the fall, we're gonna be coming into hurricane season again.
Do
and
those track hours?
The
on them?
weather
Yeah, they track
pattern, as
hours.
we know.
All right.
Does the machine have like an hours, what do you
Yes.
call that? What do you call that? A chronometer?
It has an
No,
hour.
hour meter.
Yeah. Hour meter.
I didn't look at it. I can tell you next
Tell
week
us,
I'll
Dave, we want to
give you
know.
the hours on it.
Like the cost per tree.
I've replaced the exhaust, the clutch, the tires, the bearings,
And how many times have you replaced
the
the
knives.
knives?
The knives.
50?
All right. You're overselling
It's
now.
been doing its job.
Knives are probably like $100
All
a
right.
piece, aren't they?
On
That's
there, we didn't have anything on the FYI, but,
Eric?
yes, oh, I'm sorry, Charlie.
Last,
what-
last month you asked me to look at the cost of the training stipend.
Yes.
I looked at the past 2 years. And if we instituted the plan as we wrote it up, it would have been $4,100 for last year and $2,900 for the previous year.
When you say can you know what, can you shoot me an email in regards to that, Charlie?
Yes.
Okay, let me just put this down. This is the firefighter stipend. Okay. Yeah, just shoot me an email, because you were just saying if you had the plan been implemented, and I can't remember what the structure was of your plan in regards to the training.
Roughly $16 an hour per class hour.
Right, and when you're saying 4,100, what I was looking for is a breakdown of how many personnel,
Oh, I
how many, okay, yeah, shoot that in an email, send it to the board so we all have that, all right? Perfect, okay. Let's see, just under FYI, we didn't have anything, I just wanted to bring up one thing, and that's the road closure down on River Road, and I don't have it with
Shore
me.
Road.
Shore Road, excuse me, Shore Road,
Not next Monday.
next Monday.
Is when it
It's gonna be
shuts down.
closed for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Okay. And that is to repair the bridge over the creek next to the sewer plant.
Yes.
Okay. Which is being done by the counties.
They have signs everywhere.
Yeah, I've seen that. So, and I think we've already posted it on our website, right?
Yes.
Megan?
We posted on the Facebook as well.
Okay. Alrighty. Going down the line, let's see, next, June 10th, that's tomorrow, Village Board of Fire Commissioners meeting in the Village Boardroom. Cornwall High School Senior Prom is on the 12th. Chief, I know you're all over that. We have extra men on.
Correct.
Hopefully it
for
doesn't
that.
rain.
That's right, this weekend, the Folk Festival at Donahue Farm. Come out for that, yes, whoop, whoop. The 16th, we have our village board meeting next week. Summer last chance again, summer camp registration deadline is the 16th. The 17th is the planning board meeting here in the village board, well, in the village board room. The 19th is Riverfest meeting. Wow, starting all over again. And
That's a
and
recap.
June 27th, the Cornwall High School graduation. All right. Questions, alibis? None.
Thursday night.
All right, I will make a motion to adjourn. May I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
3 to 6.
See you next week.
Just saying, it's not even.
So we'll mow Thursday.
Right.
So long as
wanna put
it's
that
not
out.
raining.
It's a little warm, but other than that.
Fantastic job.
It's a little warm in here.
But other than that,
No, the air's on, it's perfect.
I made copies of it. I don't know. if
Well, I wanna
anybody
see a
wants it or not.
picture. I want pictures.
I checked for the crud today, and it's not that.
Warm,
It's just
man.
a- it's like a-
All right.
It's very annoying.